Okay, we'll get started. If you don't have a handout, there's handouts right in the middle and the back there, and it's got the list of all the apps there. And our main topic today is going to be the best free software for tablets and smartphones. And I'll be presenting. My name is Tom Kreuzer. First, a little club agenda and some status there. Our next general meeting will be Wednesday, January 18th. We'll be back in the Baltic Room, and that'll be on financial packages or sites, and I'll be giving that. We'll be talking about Quicken, Mint, some bank apps, and different sites there. The next MaxSig is this Friday, and they're having their holiday party with some presentations and that. So if you do have a iPad or iPhone or any kind of Mac device, certainly check them out, and they're over in the 201 auditorium. Our officers, Jim Holman is our president, and I don't see Jim. Linda is our vice president. Paul Ebert is our membership secretary. Mike Griffin leads the MaxSig and is also our treasurer. Stan Miller, Stan's in back there, is our secretary. Andrew Petrucci is our communication coordinator, and my name is Tom Kreuzer. I'm a director at large. Members old and new, you can pay your dues to Paul. Since Paul's in here, you can drop them off with me. Also a reminder, if you are changing your email provider, make sure and notify us, because that's the way we send out these notices and keep in touch with you. If you have any suggestions for topics, you can always email your topics to us or talk to a board member. We're always looking for people to volunteer to present on any hardware or software they might be using. And if you don't want to present, we do have a monthly eBytes newsletter, and we'd love for you to write a short meaning a couple of sentences to as many pages as you want about a particular subject or some software that you're using or something that you found interesting there. Website, we do have out on the website the past meetings, slides, and handouts. And when possible, we'll record the meeting and also put that out there. So if you do miss a meeting or even want to go back and see one from the past, you can check out there and have access to the information there. We do have a deals section out there, and our monthly newsletter is also out there. And if you do want to add anything else to the newsletter, like ask a question or favorite links or something that you found, just send that information to me and I'll include it in the next eBytes there. The PC Club survey did go out about 2-3 weeks ago, and it says it will be out next week. It's been out for 2 or 3 weeks. The deadline for filling it out is December 18th. I think we had something like 56 people fill it out already, so thank you if you filled it out. If you haven't filled it out, I'll be sending out maybe one more link to it asking people to do it. And we use this information, we collect information on what are your favorite topics and trends on how much time people spend doing certain activities and how much they use their tablet and what kind of tablet and things like that. So it's some interesting information. We don't give the information out to anyone else. We just use it for our own aggregated numbers there. So we're not publicizing who has what or what's going on there. So we'd appreciate it if you could take the time to fill out the survey. Any club questions before we get to the main topic? Okay. Got a lot to cover today. Format of the meeting, you can certainly participate. You can ask questions and comments. The list is a long list. There's 356 apps on here. We aren't going to be able to talk about everything on here, but I'll highlight some of the things. Feel free to ask a question at any time. This is a list, started this back in the March and April of 2015 is the last time I presented on this topic, And since that time, recently I went through and updated it. So I took off a number of apps on here, added a whole bunch of new ones, looked at some other lists, the top 50, top 100 and updated everything there. So the handout, like I mentioned, is a spreadsheet, and it's sorted by category and app. In this spreadsheet, I'll also put out on our website, if you want to go and look at the spreadsheet, the advantage of the spreadsheet is you can filter on it and search on it and things like that. So if there is something that you want to look for that way, you can go out to the website and get the full spreadsheet there. The columns that are in the spreadsheet, category, that just breaks it out into a general category. We go from cooking to weather. The app name, and the app name can be somewhat confusing because what an app is called in the iOS operating system may not be exactly the same app in the Android, same name, same exact name. So when you search for some of these in the Google Play app, or you go out to iTunes and search for stuff, you may see a slightly different name than what I have listed in the spreadsheet. It doesn't mean that it's a different one. It just means that for whatever reason, the developer may have called it slightly two different things on the different platforms there. Another column out there is the cost. Most of these are free. Some of them do have options to do in-app purchases, to purchase more features or functions or get other things there. So you can certainly see what's going on there. OS column, that'll have Android, iOS if it's Apple, or both if I found it out there, for both operating systems. Then the next column, I call it the Tom column. This is if I personally use it myself. So I've highlighted the ones that I use, and that could be on, I have both an Android smartphone and an iPad tablet. So it could be on either one of those I use this app. The member column is, these were recommended by members. I mentioned the survey. One of the questions on the survey is we collect some information. If you have some unusual or favorite apps that you use, we'll collect that, and you'll see those listed out here also. The next column is site. This is a compilation from, in some cases, PC Magazine, Tom's Guide, and Tom's Guide is not me. There's an actual site out there called Tom's, and it's a bigger Apple site and some things like that. So I've accumulated information from there. I've also gotten information from Google Play. Google Play and that, you can go out there and say, what are the top 50 downloads, and get lists that way, or the most popular, or the most highly rated. You can see the list like that. New column this year is the new column. So if an app is new since the last time I presented in April 2015, you'll see a check mark in the new column there out on the side. And then some of the rows are highlighted in green, although on your black and white copy it's just going to look gray. But that's an app that I'll talk a little bit more about today, and those tend to be the apps that I use more on my devices there. Okay? Where to download and get information about these apps? Well, Apple, you should be going out to the iTunes store. Currently there's over 2 million apps out there, so there's a little bit of everything. No matter what you want to do, there's something out there. For Android, you should be going to the Google Play Store. Currently, there's 2.2 million apps out there. You can get apps from other sites and links in emails and different ways there, but I would not recommend it because that's a good way to get a virus or to get some ad programs on your devices. And so you want to be very, very careful if you are downloading or doing anything from some of these other sites. You should be able to find the app in the iTunes Store or in the Google Play Store. In order for those apps to get loaded in there, they do go through virus scanning and at least some minimal security checks and things like that. When you're downloading from a site or from an email, you really don't know what you're getting, and you may end up with a security risk there. I'll show a little bit about the Google Play Store. iTunes operates basically the same way. I mean, you can go out there and you can start typing in the name of the app and type search, and it'll return you a list there. When it returns you the list and you click on it for more detail, you do have the option to install. If you've already got it installed on your device, it should say installed already. And actually for like the Google here, I'll do it on my laptop or on my desktop. I can go out there and I can look for these apps. I can click the install and it'll install it on my phone. So I don't have to use the small screen on my phone or type on here. I can actually type on the bigger, and when I click install, it's going to install it on this device. So you don't, I guess the lesson there is you don't have to be on this device using Google Play. I can be on Google Play on any other PC and any other device there, and I can install it on mine. Reviews and scores, these are helpful to see what other users have commented on about there. And you'll also see images. There may be a video showing you what it can do, or at least some screen images on what the different features and functions look like within the application. This is also scrolling down in here. You can get more detail on the reviews. So in this case, this app was getting an average of 4.3 stars out of 5. And then you can see how the voting went. If the voting was the majority of the people were voting 5 stars, or if some were voting 5 stars, but most were voting 2 stars, that kind of thing. The other thing is you can see some comments. So these are comments that people left along with their score. And if you see a low score here, so somebody maybe didn't like a particular feature or function, you can click on it, and frequently the developers of the application will have responded to this person, so you can see what their response is. Maybe the response is, did you try this? Did you do this? Some way to work around the issue or question that the people had. This is probably one of the most important things that I look at when I install an app is how many times has it been installed? And in this case, this app has been installed between 10 million and 50 million times. And so if you go out here and you find an app and it's only been installed 1,000 times, I would not install it, just because if only 1,000 people in the entire world are using it, that's not a very popular app. You should be up in the millions for most of the apps that you're going to be using in that. So this is a good thing to look at to make sure that there's lots of people using it and find it useful there. The other thing that I'll look at too is, let's say this was a small number, let's say at 1,000 or 10,000. I'll look down here and it'll tell you similar apps. So this is what other people have also looked at when they're looking at it. So this will give you an idea there of, oh, maybe you don't want to install this app, but there's these other apps that maybe you should check out and you could see. Okay. Now we're going to jump into the list here, and again, this can be interactive, so if people do have other apps that they use, certainly chime up or questions there. But otherwise, I'll go through some of these categories, and we'll talk about some of them that I use the most there. Tip and Split, kind of a simple little app, but if I'm out eating and we want to split the bill, here's a simple little app that you put in your bill amount, tip percent, number of people, and easily calculate everything out there for you. So good use of an app there. This next one is Google Photos. And Google Photos, we mentioned before, we've got this new column called New. And this is a new app since the last time I presented this. And I use it myself, and it's very popular amongst a number of the sites recommending it. It's a replacement for Picasa on the web. So you used to have Google Picasa on the web, and then they kind of evolved to Google Plus Photos, and this is what you currently have, Google Photos. And it lets you view and edit your photos. It also will back up. So part of the installation or configuration is I can set it so it'll back up my photos to the web anytime I take a photo on my phone here. So phone or tablet, if you want that automatic backup, and then once it's backed up, then it's available to share. You can do all kinds of things there. Google Photos, if you're not familiar, does let you have unlimited free storage. So as many videos and as many pictures, I think I currently have out there probably 60,000 photos or so. So you can put as much stuff as you want. You can organize it by albums. It doesn't have all of the flexibility that Picasa locally on your machine has, but it does have some nice features and functions there, some simple editing that you can do, but I like it for the sharing and stuff like that. So once I put stuff up there, I can view it on my phone, I can view it on my tablet, I can view it on a laptop, I can view it on a desktop, I can send people links, so I can share photos that way. Okay, yes?
Interactive. And one of the things that he did when we were skiing, I took some pictures outside of the village when we were in Whistler. And I got a message when I was up on the ski hill, here's a panoramic photo. It automatically stitched them together and sent me the panoramic. I mean, that was just Google Photos did that for me and then sent me a message.
Yeah, I'm back.
Can you have it go to Google and to OneDrive simultaneously? Or would that, if you have OneDrive on your app?
You can, if you're using other applications to back stuff up and that, you can certainly have other applications and do it. You just have to figure out, you probably, in the long run, don't need it in both places, and trying to organize, it's hard enough organizing one set and doing stuff. So, maybe I'd recommend that you could try out and see which one you like best, kind of, and then use that. But
Windows 10 automatically puts it, has it set on my phone. It goes there when
yeah, there's a number of apps that'll back stuff up to some of these different. What's that?
If you have both of the apps on your phone.
If you have both of the apps on your phone, it'll back it up to both places. Okay. So yes. And the apps themselves, because some people may be worried about their data plan or stuff like that, you can tell it to only back up when I'm connected to Wi-Fi, or only back up when I have a power, so you're charging your device, so it's not draining your battery or using your data plan. So there's options with the backup and stuff like that on how they work. So the better systems will let you go into the configuration and change that. Okay? Any other questions? If you haven't used it and you don't have any backup on your phone, certainly I'd recommend it just for the backup portion, but the sharing portion is very nice also.
I guess the thing about OneDrive is that OneDrive limits the amount of storage you can put on and if you go over that, they want to charge you for extra storage. If it's unlimited, that's great.
Right, and there's advantages and disadvantages to each of these different platforms on where you store your stuff, but try it out, because frequently you can try this stuff out for free. It's just then kind of figure out what direction you want to go. Okay? Any other apps that people have in cooking and food or creativity? There's lots of little editors, for adding lips and noses and things like that to photos if you're going to post it up on Facebook or send somebody a picture. So, you play around with some of these others and you'll have fun there. And if you do get into I think Jim Beardsley there had talked about the Adobe Photoshop and stuff like that. If you're buying into that subscription and that, then certainly use the app there and integrate that with access to your albums and backing up and storing stuff out there.
If you do the Adobe Photographer's Bundle, you get Lightroom Mobile free.
So take advantage of some of that stuff if you do other stuff and have the subscription and things like that in there. Okay. Entertainment. First one I highlight in green there is the Google Play Music. I use that myself. I don't buy music. I have, I don't know what it is, close to 2,000 records and close to 1,000 CDs, and I've digitized all of that. So I have all of that free content. Well, I can take that free content, and it's free for me to upload that into Google Play. And Google Play is up in the cloud. It's backed up. I have access to it from any of my devices, my phone, my tablet, and I can play that. I can create playlists. I can do all kinds of things with that. So I find it very handy. It's kind of like the Google Photos, where it's free to upload everything, and you can upload as much as you want there. The Minnesota State Fair app, if you go to the Minnesota State Fair, it's kind of a fun app. It'll list all the places, all the food out there, all the different shops out there, give descriptions, and if you're an avid fan like myself who uses the Blue Ribbon book, it'll tell you if there's a Blue Ribbon book coupon and what it is. It'll tell you or show you where it is on the map and stuff like that. So it's really kind of a fun app if you're going out to the Minnesota State Fair. The last two that I list down here are Xfinity or Comcast apps. Currently, I do have their service, and they have they have a bunch of apps. Actually, about 6 apps are that. One of them is your program guide. So you can bring up your program guide, and I could bring up that program guide right here if I wanted. I can bring it up. I can see the channels. If I want detail on it, I just push on it, click on it. Then I can go here and I can click record, and if you have a DVR, it'll program the DVR back home to record that. So if you're not going to make it home to set your DVR or that, I can set my DVR here. So there's nice ways to see what's on, to record, to do things there. The Xfinity TV Go lets you watch things live. So if it's currently playing there, I could watch this channel live on my phone or on my tablet also. And here's some more examples there. The TV Go to watch videos. Oh, before we go there, yes?
Since Xfinity has different packages, is it filtered by whatever package you have?
It's actually available for either package. So I started out prior to the X1. The X1 is their new package with the fancier voice remotes and things like that. But actually on any of their old DVRs and stuff like that, it's possible to control the recorder from there and to change the channel. If you want to mess with somebody in the other room, or your wife is at home and you can change the channel. It'll change the channel on the remote at home because it doesn't know that you're, in another state or at work or wherever. It just changes the channel there and that. So you do have options to change the channel, to set the recorders, to watch stuff, to do all kinds of stuff there. And if you don't have Xfinity, if what you've got is like a Netflix, it's like a Netflix. If you have Netflix or what's the other ones? Excuse me. You've got so many different ones, Hulu and Amazon, the Amazon Prime. Certainly you should be using those apps also if you have a subscription to Netflix or Amazon Prime or that. You'll find a lot of features and functions that you can get to from your phone or from your tablet that you don't have just from your basic remote or things like that. Yes?
If you've got Comcast phone, you can also use the Comcast Connect app and check your phone messages from anywhere.
Yeah, lots of options in there, and Comcast or Xfinity, if you're not familiar too, sets up hotspots using Wi-Fi routers all around too that you can connect to free of charge if you have an Xfinity account or a Comcast Xfinity account. Okay. Anybody have any other app? Yes, Chuck.
IMDb is something I use often when watching movies. Yeah, maybe don't see the credits, and I want to see what the cast are and that sort of thing.
Yeah, IMDb is great. Or if you want to see other movies that this person has done, or you saw somebody like you say, and you're not sure if that's the person you're thinking of. Certainly, IMDb is the place to go to research any question that you have about movies or that.
And one of the things, Netflix now has the ability to download. I haven't tried it yet, but actually download the content.
Yeah, Netflix will, I'll repeat it so people can hear it. Netflix will allow you to download content and watch it. So if you don't have a connection or your data plan is limited there, you can do watching of movies that way too. Yeah.
I like that IMDb also tells you which movies are playing in your vicinity.
Okay.
What's playing now? That tells you within 20 miles.
Yeah, and also has the links to the theaters and if you wanted to buy your ticket and things like that for the current movies and stuff like that. So yeah, IMDb has probably been around the longest, or at least I've been familiar with it on the web for long time. Prior to the phones and apps and things like that, it's always been the biggest source for that kind of information. Okay. Okay, finance and games. Finance, we do have our meeting coming up in January where I will be presenting on finance more, so I won't go into a lot of detail there, but the ones that I do like is the Fidelity Investments app there. Well, that's showing Mint. This is currently Mint. Mint is a free package there for managing your money. It'll break it out into categories, send you alerts when you exceed categories, just a whole slew of features. And if you've never done a budget before, this is a package to do it with. And again, I'll be talking about more of that next month when we talk about it. Square will enable you to take credit cards. So if you're having a garage sale or you're having a small business and selling at a flea market or something like that, you can get a magnetic card reader for your phone or for your tablet. You can get that free of charge, and you can be swiping credit cards to instead of having to take cash there. You do pay a 2.8% fee for swiping the credit cards, but it's certainly, if you're trying to run a business or that, it kind of makes it nice there. I have a garage sale every year, and some people are surprised because I have my sign, I Discover, MasterCard, Visa, American Express. I take them all, and I end up with quite a number of people who do use it there. Banking apps like the Wells Fargo or the Fidelity, I guess the most useful thing that I find is transferring money or depositing a check. So if I get a check or that, instead of having to take it into the bank or to an ATM and scan it in, I can take a picture of it and I can send it in right that instant there. So it's that's the thing that I find the most useful there with the online banking in general. The games, there's a whole list of games here. I'm not a big game player. Certainly, if you've got some free time and are sitting around, there's a variety of games. Just depends on whether you want more of an action game or more of a thinking game or whatever there, but lots of different games that a person can play there. Anybody else have any other games or finance that they really like there? Okay. Health and fitness. Lots of health and fitness apps out there. A couple of my favorites there are Map My Run, although you'll see it under a bunch of different names. Map My Walk, Map My Bike, different things there. And what it does is it uses the GPS in your phone and will track your location, telling you the total time that you've been exercising, the distance, the pace, calories burned, splits, and then it'll save it historically. You can post it up to your Facebook. You can do different things with it, but it's just kind of a nice app there. Don't have to have any activity tracker or anything on your wrist or anything else. It's just using the basics that you have already in your phone, the GPS that's already out there, and it uses that information. Misfit is a company. They do sell activity trackers for your wrist, and I do have one of the Misfit Flash tracker, and this tracker will keep track of points, which equate to steps, and then also your activity level. So it'll tell you how much you slept, the quality of the sleep, whether it was a deep sleep, a light sleep, things like that. And if you haven't had an activity tracker before, they can be fun to compare with friends and that how much activity they're getting or who gets the most steps or things like that. This particular tracker I liked for a number of reasons. It's totally waterproof, so I never have to take it off. It takes a battery, and the battery can go up to a couple months, so I don't have to remember to charge it and do things like that. And the battery itself, you can buy that. I bought the batteries in the dollar store, so the batteries, 2 batteries for $1 isn't bad. The other thing is the watch itself. If you find it on sale, the Flash is listed, I believe, $25, but you can find it on sale, like the Black Friday sales and stuff like that, for $13, $14. So, anyone can afford activity tracker there. News, you have a couple of different, I usually check a couple of different sources. One of them I like is Google News and weather. And so it'll give you kind of local news and national news and combine it all in a nice format. And I like the way that it presents it there. Another app in the news that I like is the NCAA March Madness. So if you're a basketball fan, this is a must. So once March rolls around and you start the NCAA basketball tournament, the app will show you all the different scores, and you can click on one of the scores there and immediately go to the game and watch the game and switch back to another one. And so it's a very nice way to watch the tournament and to see what's going on there. The other thing you'll notice, like up here, how many people have like an Apple Play or the Chromecast or that? Okay, there's a few. This is showing that this app can be cast on your TV. So if you have a device on your TV, a Chromecast, the iTunes, the Apple iTunes, you can use a feature called iPlay, and that lets you cast stuff from your device up to your TV. And so you can watch it on the bigger screen. You can do all kinds of things with it that is very nice there. This is another news app, USA Today, and if you like the format of the newspaper and that, you'd probably like the format of the app. It's got a nice clean look and shows information there. Any other apps in the health and fitness and news that people use? Yes, Chuck.
Weather Underground is really useful because you can chart out day by day, and within a day you can chart out by hour what the temperature's going to be, probability of precipitation. It's really pretty handy.
Yeah, the Weather Underground, there's...
annoying, but you can turn that off for an hour.
Yeah, there's a number of weather apps, and like you say, some of them are very nice in that they'll show you the percent chance of rain, whether it's 10% chance or 90% chance for that hour, and they're usually pretty accurate there. So it's kind of nice there if you're trying to plan things and see when the rain or the snow is going to stop or what's going to happen there. And actually, we'll talk about the weather apps are at the end, and we'll talk. But that's fine there. It is kind of the news and stuff like that. Anyone else have any other app or comment there? Okay. Productivity. So productivity, you have your general Google Docs and sheets and stuff like that. So if you're working with spreadsheets or things like that, those can be very nice and that to deal with. The one that I've highlighted here is OneNote, and OneNote is like Evernote. So Evernote's also listed up here, but OneNote and Evernote go beyond normal word processing. So they let you create lists, they let you create all kinds of things, and then you can interactively use it. You can jot things down on paper, and then you can take a picture of it, and it'll translate it into text and things like that. So you have kind of some character recognition and some capabilities there. It also lets you collect information. So if you're trying to, let's say you're going to be creating a party for somebody, well, you want to start collecting things from all different sites and all different places. You can start collecting those into folders and organize it. So it really makes the whole process of working with a number of documents or even a number of people. You can start sharing this with other people. They can be collaborating with you, and you can be doing it all together. OneNote is Microsoft's solution to this, and again, it lets you do things if I wanted to just take voice notes, I could take voice notes and also do that within the application there. Any other comments on productivity or other apps that people may use there? Because I'll use like the Google Sheets and stuff like that, which enables me to. I don't have Office 365 on here, but I can pull up spreadsheets. Like if I wanted to pull up this spreadsheet, I can pull up this spreadsheet on my phone free of charge. And just like a spreadsheet, I've got my columns. I can go up and down. I can make changes. I can do stuff, and that. And in this case, I usually store my spreadsheets and stuff like that up on Google Drive, which is Google's cloud storage. But you know, if you start going down the Microsoft path, then that's tied in more to the Microsoft applications. Well, Microsoft doesn't have free packages to edit. They have free packages to view some of the stuff, but they don't have free packages to edit if you wanted to do like spreadsheets or things like that. So depending on what you're doing, you may want to consider Google over a OneDrive or things like that. Okay.
And just a comment on Evernote or OneNote, too. You can have shared notebooks, and so we do that. My wife and I just for like who's used the who's gas coupon or maybe even a shopping list or something. She's putting it together, and that's like you're going, and so the list is right there available.
Yeah, they're great for shopping lists and things like that. I don't share my shopping list, but I don't put down lists anymore on Post-it notes, which probably isn't good for 3M. I don't use Post-it notes for shopping lists anymore. I put everything on my phone, because if I have it on my phone in a list here, next time I go to Menards or next time I go to Cub or next time I go to wherever, I can pull it up, I can look on here, and it literally is, you know, click, click, click. Okay, I picked up these, I did this. Oh, I forgot this, let's add this in here. You can add to the list, you can change the list, you can look at it from anywhere there. You don't forget it at home and have to say, oh, the list is on the refrigerator or the list is somewhere else or stuff like that. You've got it with you everywhere. And so utilizing some of these things is nice. Yes, Jim?
Shopping, there is one for the shopping list. That's perfect for that.
Yeah.
Barcode reader and all that.
Right. Yeah, so, you know, when there's 2 million apps out there, there's kind of all these different variations for different things too, and certainly some of them are a little more focused there. You'll see when we get to the shopping topic too, there's specific store ones too that'll have their own shopping list too. Certainly you can use those. Find one that works for you and you know, the app if you like the app, and then start using it there.
One thing about Evernote is they are now limiting the number of devices that you can connect to the account. It's 2 without paying. So if you have multiple people in your house using one Evernote account, you're going to have to buy their premium account in order to be able to share more than 2 devices.
Okay. I'm a OneNote person. I guess I've used OneNote for a number of years. I took a look at Evernote, and certainly it has some nice features and functions there. It's just a matter again of what do you need and what are you looking for there. And if you're trying to use it on different platforms, how does the laptop version compare to the smartphone version, that kind of thing too. Okay. Searching is probably the most useful app that I use on my phone at all is the Google Now or Google Search. and that will let you search by voice command. It also learns your patterns, so it will tell you if you're going into work or coming home from work. It'll figure out your pattern and what's the best routes and stuff like that. Your sports scores, it'll keep you up to date on those. If you're recording, let's say you're recording the Wild game, I just push my finger on there and say, I forgot what it says on there, but you can tell it not to tell you the score because you're going to watch it later. So it'll just defer it. It won't tell you. It won't keep updating the score for that and that. So it makes it easy to keep track of all these things going on, and it'll do it all for you automatically there. And you can customize it at any time, adding new things, or it'll look at your patterns of what you're searching for and what you're doing and automatically add things in that it thinks you're interested in. So that's very, very helpful there. Yellow Pages, I use Yellow Pages. One of the things in there is the gas prices. I like the interface better and how it does things than like Gas Buddy and some of the others that'll give you gas prices and that. This will highlight the lowest priced gas stations around and trends and things like that also in there. Oh, I guess we didn't. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, security. I've mentioned this before. Certainly there's antivirus stuff and mobile security things that you can put on your phone. Personally, myself, I don't recommend an antivirus on the phone. It'll drain your battery. It'll slow down the phone and stuff like that. And with a little bit of knowledge, if you just think about what you're doing on the phone, don't go out and download apps from other sites. If you're careful about what you're doing, you're never going to end up with a virus on your phone. Unlike a PC, PCs are easier to get viruses on, and you do need protection there. Phones, it's harder to get a virus on, and with a little bit of knowledge of what you're doing, you can keep yourself safe and secure there, and not over compensate by cutting down your battery life and everything else on the machine there. But there are things like LastPass. I do use. I don't have it highlighted here, but I do use LastPass to keep track of passwords and stuff like that. And so that'll do automatic logins and where I don't have to remember all these different passwords and that. Yes?
I have on my phone I have a Lookout, and I see you have that here for $29.99 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And on my phone it's free, and I have that set where it goes out and checks my programs like once a week or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess I like seeing that. I don't know if it's really draining the battery or not, but that was leading me to my next question, and that is, the more programs you have, they're working in the background a lot of the time. So
yeah.
That's taking your battery power down, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. The more programs or apps that you have on the phone, even though you don't necessarily have them up and running, most of them are doing some form of notification, some form of background processing, even when they aren't, physically showing on your phone. So, if you're looking to reduce your or to increase your battery life and to have the performance, one of the ways is certainly to reduce the number of apps that you have on the phone. Part of the battery life problem, if you go into your phone and to the settings, battery, that'll usually tell you which apps are consuming the most battery. So that's the first indication of, gee, this is consuming a lot of battery. Is there some features or functions I can turn off, or do I really use it enough for it to justify using that much battery? And maybe you say, no, I really don't use it. I've replaced it with this other app. Uninstall and get it out, get it off your phone there.
I also have something on my phone that it senses that the program has not been used in 3 days. It shuts it down.
And that's a good thing there. There's organizers too that'll put your apps together in folders and things like that. Yes, Jim.
Lookout doesn't use battery life until you activate it, or unless it's doing something. Otherwise, it doesn't drain your battery. But it also has, like they do for the iOS, Find My Phone feature. That if you lose your phone or somebody takes your phone, you can go online, if you have an account, and it'll tell you where your phone is. So it's a nice, it is a free app unless you buy the premium service.
Okay. Any other packages or comments anyone has?
Do they use that power if they're in a folder?
No. The folder is just trying to make it easier for you to find it or to use it, because some people I've seen may have 100 or more apps out there, and to me it's a case of you can't be using them all. And I'd certainly concentrate on the ones that you are using and maybe get rid of some of this other stuff. And because it's easy to download and install them, you don't have to keep the ones that you just occasionally use on the phone either. When you are going to use it, or let's say you are traveling, well, now it's helpful to have this app. We'll go out and install it, and when you're done traveling, uninstall it. So I mean, it's not like you have to keep some of these apps all the time on the phone. With the speed of installation and stuff like that, you can be installing and uninstalling them, however there.
Is that app that she mentioned that monitors and shuts down unused apps on your list?
I guess, was that part of Lookout, or is that some other app?
Lookout, and I don't pay.
Okay.
If on the Android phones, it's a built-in app. It's part of the system that will search, give you a warning if you've got the one widget that shows the warnings, today and date, all those kind of things. You look them up and say, this app is draining so much battery life. If you want to turn it off, you just turn off the app at that point. It'll still be there, it just doesn't run the background.
Yeah, and some of the apps do have settings to turn off,
It's called Clean something, I don't remember what it is, but it's an app that comes with your Android operating system, at least on mine.
Yeah, I believe on the utilities, I think it's Clean Master. That'll go through and delete and.
That's a different one. And that one I've tried, and it's caused problems with other apps. But there's one that's built into, at least on an LG.
Smart Manager.
Android. Smart Manager is one.
Yeah.
But it's part of their operating system, and it automatically will tell you what apps haven't been used for 90 days. Or
okay. Okay. Okay, we'll move on here. Shopping, lots of different ones there. One that is new that I started using now is the Android Pay, and I love it. It lets me, on those stores that accept it, I just swipe my phone in front of there, don't have to take out my card, don't have to worry about the number being stolen or anything like that. So that I really like. Cub, I do go to Cub Foods. I like the Cub app. Now I don't have to clip coupons anymore. Any coupon that Cub has, as long as I use my app there, I will get credit for the coupon. So it makes it nice there. Great Clips, I love their app. It'll tell me what the waiting estimated time at the different locations is, so I can make my appointment and see how long right there. Keyring, I used to have multiple Xfinity cards there and that I'd have to carry around. Well, now I don't carry any of those around. It's all electronic. So the different cards for the different places you can store in Keyring here, and then have those available to be scanned and used at the different locations. Lenz and Byerly's, also you get access to making a list here if you did want that. But also their mobile offers. They have some offers that are only available if you're using the mobile app. These are some of the apps for doing price comparison, and there's a number of them out there. This is showing a couple of them, Red Laser and Shop Advisor. And what you can do with these apps is I can use my phone, and it uses a camera, and all I have to do is hold the camera up so it's taking a picture of the barcode. It'll read the barcode, and then it'll go out and tell you what the price is at various locations, local stores, or online retailers, the different prices. The other thing that like Shop Advisor will do is it'll show you the trend of this particular product. Is the product going down in price? Is it going up in price? What's happening to the product there? So it's kind of nice that you can see a price history of what's going on there. And did it go on sale? When did it go on sale? That kind of thing. So it's the comparison shopping makes it very easy. Gone are the days when you have to go to multiple stores to see if is this really a good deal. And if I think it was last night on the TV, Channel 11 or Channel 4, one of the two there, they were talking about a few of the companies like Penny's that have inflated prices. So they'll have a 50% off sale, but they inflate their prices up more than double their price, and then say 50% off, and these apps or these things like that will tell you what the price really is there, and if it's ever been sold for that higher amount. Any other apps in the shopping area that people are familiar with or want to talk about? But there's a ton of them here. You can see, I mean, again, if you frequent eBay, you'll want the eBay app. Best Buy, Cartwheel. I actually use the Cartwheel app from Target, and you get discounts and stuff like that shopping. So almost any store you go to now has a app there, and I'd recommend taking a look at those and seeing.
Missed the Amazon.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah, Amazon shopping, yeah.
By the way, on Amazon, if you're involved with a nonprofit or you have a favorite nonprofit, smiles.amazon.com, if you go to that, with your account, you can select your favorite charity, and then they will give a donation to your favorite charity for every purchase you make from that site.
Okay. Oh, good tip there. Social out here, certainly Facebook is probably the most popular app that people are using out there. Google Plus is another one, certainly not used as much, but it can be used to also access your photos and other capabilities out there, so that's kind of a nice one. Skype for video conferencing, especially if you've got, if some of your friends have an iOS operating system, an Apple operating system, and an Android operating system, you need something that passes between there, and Skype certainly is the most popular there.
You use that on your phone, on your tablet? what do you think of the interface? I mean, I know it's available for both, but what do you think of the interface when you get to, phone starts getting pretty small?
It all depends on, what you have in front of you. If all you've got is the phone, then, you make do with the phone or the tablet. If you have other capabilities, certainly the laptop, you have a bigger screen, you have a better camera on there, it'll be better there. But if all you've got is the other, and especially if you can cast it up to the larger screen, that kind of thing too. If you've got a bunch of people in the house that you're trying to do things with, that can be handy that way too. So as long as you can cast it onto the larger screen, but if everybody's trying to look at, a small phone, it gets hard to do there. Yes, Jim?
One you missed is called GroupMe.
Okay.
It's a text messaging app. So if you have a group, like I monitor with a group called Reds and Hammers where we have homes in a general area. We're all on GroupMe, so if I need something, I can send a text message. It goes out to all the different groups to see if somebody has a reciprocating saw we can borrow for an hour or something like that. But you can also use it with your family and other things, so it's just kind of a group text messaging.
Okay. No, I'll add it in. Certainly if anyone has any other ones that aren't listed here, I'll add them and either put them in the e-bites or stuff like that too there.
Yeah, but that's if you're on Facebook. Something they have to be on Messenger. Where GroupMe is any text message. So I can have you in my GroupMe account send you a text message even if you don't have GroupMe. But it'll tell you, it'll ask you to install it if you want.
Okay. Any other, the sports I mentioned, watch ESPN. It's a great way to watch it there, although it does require Comcast or that in there to be able to watch it. Some of the travel, Google Earth, I don't know how many times I've used that. I love to be able to visually see some of this stuff and that maybe before I go to a location, it's handy there. And that can be combined with the Google Maps there to give you your route, to show you where you're going, and turn-by-turn instructions, and it takes into account the traffic backups and road conditions to find the fastest route and what's out there too. The other one for traffic or car travel is WAZ. WAZ is a little more social in that it relies on people reporting things. And so it's not only traffic backups, but if there's police radar or things like that out there, it'll warn you about police radar coming up. So it's an interactive system to keep track of stuff there.
So what I've got...
Yep. No, go ahead.
So I've got maps.me. The interesting part about that is, I don't know if the others can do that, but you can download the maps. So you don't have to be, if you're worried about data usage, you can download it at home over Wi-Fi. And then you'll be out and about, and you can navigate by the downloaded map.
Yeah, and Google Maps now lets you download also, and that's a new feature. You didn't used to be able to do that, but now you can download the maps. So if you're going to be in an area where you don't have a connection or you want to minimize your data plan there, that's certainly a good idea there. But, yeah.
It wasn't tough to navigate, but when we went to Whistler, I downloaded it because now I'm going to Canada where I didn't have the coverage, but I had the maps downloaded on my phone in Google Maps.
There's no cell service.
Yeah.
I have Android Auto, which allows you to link it right up to the type of car that you have, whether it's a Ford or a Kreuzer or whatever. And it's supposed to interface with the screen on your dash. And unfortunately, Ford hasn't got it linked to the 2016. They did it to the 2017, so they're writing it but I can still have map on my phone, and it's interactive with Google, and it does, give me the drive-by.
Yeah, the directions and the instructions.
And eventually it's going to interface so that it'll come on the ADS. That's called Android Auto.
Okay.
One of the new features of Waze is it'll now tell you if it's time to leave. Say you gotta leave in the next 5 minutes if you're gonna make it. Just kind of a nice feature.
Yeah, it's nice for the apps to get smarter, because all of them are getting smarter to understand that, yes, normally you leave at this time, but if traffic is backed up or road conditions because it's snowing or whatever, you should leave 15 minutes early or something like that if you want to get there.
Mine still thinks I work and I retired in August.
Send the app into work and... Okay. Utilities, there's a ton of utilities out there. Some we've just touched a little bit. Battery percentage overlay, Clean Master. This is for cleaning off some of the files, and whether it's cached for your browser, cleaning out some of that stuff. So there are utilities to help you do that. Let's see, this is Google Drive is out there. You can organize your stuff. Again, I mentioned like looking up spreadsheets or other things. You can share your drive with other people. You can be modifying or just viewing Word files, Excel, whatever you have out there. QR codes, you'll see them on a number of devices. It's nice to have some kind of app where you can pull up the website that the QR code refers to get some more information maybe on what's going on out there. So, any other utilities or things that people find helpful? I mentioned Wi-Fi Analyzer too. I've talked about that before when you're setting up your home network. It's nice to be able to see how your network is set up, what other networks are around you that might be interfering with your network, and some things like that. Yes?
So I don't know if this has been covered in the budget, but I'd like to put in a $100 Wi-Fi set, and then that has an app so that I can tell that, shut down before I go home. I can Wi-Fi. Do you recommend that?
Okay, yeah, the smart home devices, there's all kinds of ones for doing automation within the home.
The app is that great, but just being able to install the thermostat is worth it.
Right. Yeah, no. And the Wi-Fi enabled thermostats, it used to be that they were $299 or $200. Now you're starting to see them down $70 even. Yeah. So the prices are coming down, and the whole home automation and smart devices is coming down in price. Yes.
You have Google Voice up here, and I'm sure there are other apps that are able to do this, but I've used Google Voice just because if I'm calling someone overseas, the rates are really cheap. And I talked to someone in England for half an hour, and it only cost me like 15 cents. So.
Okay. Yeah, certainly. With 2+ million apps out there, like I said, there's probably an app to do almost everything, and you just have to dig around a little bit, and you can find some stuff there. Okay, we've gone over a little bit. We'll just cover these last ones. The weather apps, Weather Underground was mentioned. Weather Bug. There's if you like the radar better there, Radar Now is kind of a nice one to show the radar, but the basics, you'll find those in the Weather Underground and Yahoo Weather, and with their forecasts and their ease of use there. Any other weather apps or?
Usually the news stations has their own weather
Yeah, the newspapers and the Care 11 or WCCO. Right. So if you tend to watch that news, that's a good suggestion. You'll probably like their app, and at least you won't hear differences where this one says tomorrow's temperature is going to be 25, and the other one will say no, it's going to be 15. Any other questions or comments on apps there? Otherwise, I thank you for coming. Out of the survey, if you haven't done the survey, please do it. If there's any additional apps that we get on that, I'll list those, and those will probably either be in the e-bites then also. Otherwise, thanks for coming.